Brother lads, welcome back to Cossy Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. We're going to be diving into the latest around Arsenal. Arsenal have consolidated their interest in Kai Havertz. According to the Mail and the Telegraph, Arsenal will step up their interest to sign Kai Havertz after signing DECLAN Rice. Arsenal will not pay above £50 million and they will only move for the player if Chelsea reduce on the asking price. We'll also be diving into some reports from Germany, consolidating interest from Bayern in Moises Caicedo, especially Sky Sports Germany, confirming that Bayern Munich have discussed the possibility of signing Moises Caicedo this summer. Despite the fact that they feel Rice is not a doable deal, Moises Caicedo is a doable deal on their side. Hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast as well. Let's get this video to 500 likes. In the comment box below, let's have the conversation about Kai Havertz because, like it or not, yesterday I did a video about could sign, could not sign. And I said with Kai Havertz, it's one of those that are really, really difficult. I remember I said he might be one of those I would easily go, cannot happen, no chance. But I tell you what, Mikel Arteta really likes him, and maybe there is a good player in there. Madrid are also really interested. So Madrid and Arsenal, two top clubs, really interested in Kai Havertz. Maybe there is a player to watch. Maybe there is something to reincarnate in Kai Havertz. What are your thoughts on Kai Havertz? Do you see him as just a Chelsea reject, just like the likes of Willian that we signed on a free? Do you look at him as a player who has a lot to work on, but maybe can get to those levels of Mesut Ozil? I really think when Chelsea signed him, everybody looked at him in that way. Is there that kind of beast? Does he have the mentality to rejuvenate his career and turn it around? I want your thoughts. I want your opinions in the comment box below. Right, let's dive into the story. Now, of course, it was broken by the Daily Telegraph. That is Martlo's Daily Telegraph. The Arsenal would be prepared to step up their interest in Kai Havertz if his price dropped significantly. They are unwilling to pay more than about 50 million euros. Again, this story has been consolidated by the Mail, who have said that Mail Sport understands that Arsenal are keen on Chelsea's Kai Havertz and will turn up their attention to the player after luring DECLAN Rice to the club. Arsenal plan to finalize a deal with Rice by the end of this week. That has been confirmed by the Mail as well. But what is very interesting here, and I've just made a little quote from whatever Martlo has written in this article for the Telegraph, is just say that Arsenal would be prepared to step up their interest in Kai Havertz if his price tag dropped significantly. And he says, while Real Madrid have also looked at the German, but are also unwilling to pay more than about £50 million for him, right? There is thought to be more of interest from a third club in Kai Havertz, who has 2 years remaining on his contract and so far shown no indication to sign an extension. That is what we are looking at right this afternoon. Kai Havertz to Arsenal, Kai Havertz to Chelsea, Kai Havertz to a potentially another third club, but the price has to come down. Now, I think we are in the market for a forward that is consolidated. We've already nailed on the positions Arsenal really want to work on. Arsenal want to address this summer. I think a forward is a real possibility now, a really, really big possibility. And I think with Kai Havertz, it just outlines the kind of player Mikel Arteta wants. Still, I've talked about this before. We are not going to sign a player who plays in one position. We are not going to sign a player who is fixated on one position. We want to sign a player who literally plays alongside that front line, plays each and everywhere on that front line. So I think Kai Havertz, we've already seen with Chelsea, he can play as a false nine. I think we've seen with Bayer Leverkusen, he can play anywhere. As long as you can give him the freedom, as long as you can give him the liberty, he can play anywhere. Can he be the guy that replaces or backs up Bukayo Saka on the right hand side? You never know, probably. I see him as such a huge talent. And of course, he's left-footed, right-footed as well. He can play on the left-hand side as well, inverted or traditional. But I expect a lot of fire and I expect a lot of pushback from many Arsenal fans. We have this record of signing Chelsea rejects. Like, We have signed so many players from Chelsea, and none of them can actually go, or none of them can get the credit of being such a wonderful signing. I don't think Jorginho is, one of the players you can't say, oh, we've signed such a fantastic, young talent from Chelsea. The same as David Luiz, the same as Willian. The same as Peter Cech. I don't remember Peter Cech giving us his best performances as compared to what he gave to Chelsea. So I understand the PTSD, I understand the stigma, I understand the trauma when it comes to Chelsea players, right? And if anyone goes, we don't need to sign Kai Havertz, we don't need to sign another player from Chelsea, I would really, really understand. But listen to me and hear me out on Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz would be the first player Arsenal sign in their prime. Kai Havertz from Chelsea in their prime. He's 24. He has 2 years on his deal. That means by the end of his deal, he will be 26. Arsenal, Chelsea signed him, I think around 2021. He was still a very young player, very exciting at Bayern Leverkusen, and everyone actually rated him at around 100 million euros. We all thought he was going to do things better than Marco Reyes, better than Julian Brandt, better than the likes of Ilkay Gundogan. We all thought it was going to be the next big thing in German football, and somehow his growth has stunted a little bit. But for me, the question with Kai Havertz here is it the problem? Is it the problem of the player? Is it his fault entirely, or it is the fault of Chelsea as a football club? And I think you could have an argument here. You could have a debate. You could have a case here, to debate. Then ever since Kai Havertz coming out at Chelsea, winning the UEFA Champions League with Thomas Tuchel, imagine what Erling Haaland has done here, winning the UCL in the first season. Kai Havertz scored against Manchester City in a UCL final to win Chelsea their second, UEFA Champions League under Thomas Tuchel. I think that only brings out, the true nature of Kai Havertz. He's such a quality player. He's not a feeble player. He's such a quality talent. But ever since him signing for Chelsea, how many managers have Chelsea had? They've brought in Thomas Tuchel. They had Thomas Tuchel, who was eventually sacked. Then they brought in Graham Potter, who did absolutely nothing towards the development of the player. And they brought in Frank Lampard back, who for me was a disaster of an appointment, right? So Kai Havertz can also be excused from all this turmoil, and he can easily go, I want to go somewhere else and, rejuvenate my career. I want to go somewhere else and become such a quality player. Now, there is no doubt that Mauricio Pochettino would definitely get the best out of Kai Havertz, in my opinion. But it is highly unlikely that he's going to wait at Chelsea for another either disaster or something miraculous to happen and the project turns around, right? So he wants to go somewhere else. He wants to go and get free football, and that place would be Arsenal. Now, would he start every single game? That is a debate, and that would depend on how hard he works. Mikel Arteta said that if there is merit, if a player merits starting for the club, then definitely will be starting every single week, right? If a player registers themselves as important, then definitely they will be starting every week, which I don't have a problem with, right? So with Kai Havertz, I don't think the recent events represent him fully as a player, right? He's played at false 9. He's played as a number 9, not actually false 9, but as number 9, as a target man for Chelsea. It has not worked out, but we've seen him in much better free roles, performing much better in situations where he's been given the freedom at Bayer Leverkusen, where he's free to roam around and create very, very different situations. Now, I agree with Arsenal. 50 million, maybe. Less than 50 million, definitely. Above 50 million, no. Right? I think Chelsea, what Chelsea are trying to do here, they're trying to, take advantage of the market, right? They're trying to take advantage. If Madrid lose Benzema, we can sell them Kai Havertz at a very astronomical fee. I don't think Madrid do have that, desperacy. Of course, they're desperate, right? They're really, really desperate. But I don't think they are desperate to sign to pay 70 million for Kai Havertz. With Arsenal, you can't rob us anymore. You really, really can't. I think the last club that will rob us is West Ham, because if we pay 100 million for Declan Rice, West Ham will feel, yeah, we've done it. We've robbed Arsenal, right? I think they're the last club that will rob Arsenal. I don't expect any other club to come in and, force us to pay over the odds. I don't expect that to happen. So Kai Havertz, I would take him at Arsenal. He is a special player, and I see him as an Alexis Sanchez. I see him as a Mesut Ozil. He comes in, he works on his football, he works on his game, he works on his attributes, best attributes of the game, and he gets back to the levels where everybody knows him. I simply think that. I simply believe that, to be honest, right? Now, reports coming in from Germany indicate that Arsenal will be rivaled by Bayern and Chelsea for Moises Caicedo. Bayern being the newest and most latest addition to the list of players of clubs admiring Moises Caicedo. So according to Pletigo, Florian Plettenberg, a very, very reputable journalist in Germany, quoting DiMarzio and Sky Sports, he says that news on Caicedo, he is discussed at Bayern in the last days as he still has no agreement with Chelsea or Liverpool. Bayern is monitoring his situation at the moment, but CFC, that is Chelsea, are still trying to push and are still pushing to sign him. And he says, but Tuchel has other plans and is not pushing for him at this stage. All right. So Bayern are interested. They have discussed him internally, but they're not overly excited and they're not pushing to sign him, but they will be there. All right. But I've also seen from The Athletic today, I've not seen the article actually, but I've seen a few Manchester United accounts quoting The Athletic that Manchester United will be bigger rivals for Moises Caicedo for Chelsea rather than Arsenal. That Arsenal's interest might not be as big as reported by other outlets. I think that's pure nonsense. I think that is absolute nonsense. And the reason is why I feel that is because most outlets believe Arsenal will sign Rice. And hence, Arsenal will not have enough funds or enough money to do both Moises Caicedo and Declan Rice. And I don't believe that for me. Because, listen, in January, we had Rice as our priority. But we were willing to spend over 90 million on Mikhailo Modric. I have a feeling that Arsenal would have gone for Declan Rice whether we signed Mikhailo Modric in January or not. It's the same. It's about paying 70 and paying 100. 170 is the same it's the same situation as Arsenal paying 100 million euros or 90 million euros for Mikhailo Modric and then agreeing a deal for Declan Rice for 100 million pounds. It's very, very similar. The only difference here is that we pay and we buy both players in the summer. I think that's the only difference. If we bought Caicedo in January, we would have brought in, Declan Rice in the summer as well. I don't see any changes. I really, really don't see any changes here. So, look, Bayern being in the discussion just frightens me, of course, because Caicedo is not English. So he's not limited by boundaries. He would look at Bayern as a huge step. Of course, with Bayern, you go there, 10 years, you have your 7, 8, 9 Bundesliga titles guaranteed. So when they sign you, they say, hey, you will have, you sign for us, we will give you 9 Bundesliga gold medals, and we will give you around 6, 7 DFB Pokal gold medals. Because they're always winning those trash titles in Germany, right? I think with Bayern also, you have a shot at every season playing in the UEFA Champions League. You also have a shot at winning the UEFA Champions League better than Arsenal, better than Chelsea as well, right? So I think Moises Caicedo, if they're really interested Bayern, it's going to be really an exciting run. It's really going to be an exciting, battle. And I won't be surprised if Arsenal eventually decide, He's very expensive. There is a bidding war. We want to walk away. Of course, I think Bayern are also considering Moises Caicedo, given the fact that they have decided not to bid for Declan Rice because they feel the deal is already moved on. They feel the deal is beyond them. Arsenal having agreed to pay 100 million, Bayern don't see how different they can convince the player and how different they can convince West Ham. I mean, if someone wants to sell their player at 100 and they have agreed a deal for 100, unless you want to overpay, which Bayern never do, I don't see them go for Rice. But Moises Caicedo would be such an interesting player. I do have the feeling that Bayern are not overly sold on the prospect of signing Sofyan Amrabat. Okay, he's an exciting prospect, but they're not overly sold on that prospect. All right, so maybe Moises Caicedo then would be the player that they love. But also for Sofyan Amrabat, I will be surprised if he makes a big money move, right? Because Liverpool wanted him in January. Why don't they want him this summer? Like, because he's such a good player, isn't he? Such a very, very good player. But maybe he's that kind of guy like James Maddison. He's never going to play for a big club. He will be, oscillating between Fiorentina, West Ham, maybe, Dortmund. I think Dortmund should go for Sofyan Amrabat. But Julian Alvarez would be, not Julian Alvarez, but Edson Alvarez would be a better shout, in my opinion. So let's wait and see. Let's wait and see the competition. And let's watch the space. The window is open. We are here to give you every single detail.